All right, last video, the agenda and the Bible.
The chapter further states that the next president should require agencies to maintain a biblically based social science reinforced definition of marriage and family, meaning the next president should push to remove protections for same-sex marriage. And that's not the only reference to the Bible or the sanctity of the family in the policy document. Its 920 pages are littered with references to the Bible and Christianity and the traditional family unit. The foreword declares the most important community in each of our lives and the life of the nation is the family. Today, the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers, including more than 70% of black children. There is no government program that can replace the hole in a child's soul cut out by the absence of a father. Which, first of all, that's some old school Republican language. The loud welfare queen wolf whistle of Reagan rings on into the night, I see. But also, frankly, as someone without a dad, I can confirm that actually the health insurance I had through the state as a poor recently graduated 22-year-old paid for the therapy that I needed to fill that hole, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. But that's not the point. The point is to demonize single mothers, especially black ones, and place the blame of all of society's woes on the backs of individuals who just need to work harder to maintain their traditional family units, and not on the system that leads to impoverished single mothers in the first place, like, I don't know, the mass incarceration of black fathers, for example. One of the main stated goals of the policy is securing our God-given individual rights to live freely against the woke agenda. The opening note of the manifesto states, "Today the left is threatening the tax-exempt status of churches and charities that reject woke progressivism. They will soon turn to Christian schools and clubs with the same totalitarian intent." In the chapter on COVID-19 policies, the author asks, how much risk mitigation is worth the price of shutting down churches on the holiest day of the Christian calendar and far beyond as happened in 2020? What is the proper balance of lives saved versus souls saved? And the fact that these people think that the federal government should be concerned with saving souls tells you enough about the belief system of the people who want to overrun our government. The chapter on the U.S. Department of Labor states, God ordained the Sabbath as a day of rest, and until very recently, the Judeo-Christian tradition sought to honor that mandate by moral and legal regulation of work on that day, and blames consumerism and secularism for the decline in Sabbath observance, calling on Congress to encourage communal rest by amending the Fair Labor Standards Act to require that workers be paid time and a half for hours worked on the Sabbath. Which sounds kind of nice except for the whole Christian nationalism thing. The chapter on the U.S. Department of State says that special attention must be paid to challenges of religious freedom, especially the status of Middle Eastern Christians and other religious minorities, as well as the human trafficking endemic to the region. But of course we know which religious freedom they're concerned with here. In all of this, Project 2025 essentially creates a blueprint for the proliferation of a Christian nationalist agenda at every level of government.
Now they care about black people.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't.
They only bring us up when it's convenient to like prove a point.
They concern themselves with black people. They created the welfare queen, the fatherless homes. They created these type sayings to show you this is why our country is the way it is. They don't care about the black community. They only use the black community as an example of why we're not. I have no idea where they're going with this, really. The most dominant country in the world, or I have no idea where they're going with this.
Well, what they're doing is an age-old story of black people in America. You have to dehumanize us and somehow attribute our collective failure as somehow related to our actual genetics. And so if you can continue the story that we are takers and we are like children and we must be led so that we do not fall into slothfulness and trivial and all that stuff that they've always done, then it can give an excuse for why in the most wealthy nation, one of the most wealthy nations on the planet, why this particular group continues to be in these particular positions. And that story only works if you can get people who do not understand history for one, and then also a people who do not understand their own history for two. And then for the third masterful stroke is we have to make sure that we can get you to only look at one group at a time. See, if we sit there and we do the black struggle, then the question would be, well, wait a minute, but what about the Native American? How are they faring? No. We're not talking about them. We only talk black and white. But what about the Latinos who come specifically from Central America? No.
Build a wall.
We're not talking about them, right? So everybody, we can make your failings seem as though they are actually yours and not manufactured by us, so long as we can keep you ignorant of everything that came to be to get you in that position. And the saddest part about this, for me, is within our community, in the black community, we're actively assisting in this. See, I can't stop quote unquote white America from doing what it does. Right? It's doing what it feels it needs to do to protect its power, to protect its privilege. And the vast majority aren't even engaged at all. They not even interested in any of this. They really don't think any of this is happening because their life is get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work. That's their life. And they only see that. But see, there's a small determined few who understand the real stakes of the game. And they make sure that these constructs continue to run so that they can continue to protect their power and keep that sleepy white majority from paying too close of attention because they need them as a buffer. Right? So it's so sad. But like I said, the part that concerns me the most is our community because, and then there's other communities doing the exact same thing, but I can't speak for them the same way. We got to stop participating. We have to uncenter Eurocentric life, and we have to decide what is it that will help our community be able to compete. And that the formula is very simple. You need education, you need economics, and you need a spiritual base. You need them. Those are the three things you need. And so why are we still entrusting our children to overwhelmingly white teachers? Why are we all employed overwhelmingly by white business? Well, we have to because it's the majority. But the thing is, you can start to affect those things. We can encourage more people of color, black people specifically, to go into education. First time a lot of our children see a black person teaching them is going to be when they get to high school. So how do we find a way to engage sooner than that? Do we need to start our own preschool so we can teach them K to 6, K to 5? Do we need to just get more teachers into the school system, which is a whole other thing, because now you got to fight with the white structure when you get there, but still, our children need us. That's education. Economics. Starts with small businesses. Learn from our Latino brothers and sisters and our Asian brothers and sisters who already do this. They don't employ all their people, but there's a strong base that can go to work for their own people, gain whatever skills or whatever, and go outside and work for white people if they want to, or build their own business if they want to, and all these different things. It's called competition. We can do that too. So I'm so disheartened sometimes, but I'm still at it, folks. Still at it. January, Are United Core coming at you. I finally have some stuff moving, but better late than never, as my man Marlon told me. So we're gonna keep going. But man, I'm so disheartened.